Good morning, students. I'm Shaila Goel, your psychology teacher. We are doing the chapter 2 Self and Personality. Self refers to the totality of individuals' conscious experience, ideas, thoughts, and feelings with regard to herself or himself. Now, students, this simply means that what we think of ourselves, what we think our ability is ourself. In the series of self, we have done cognitive and behavioral aspects of self. They were self concept and self esteem. Now, in this series, we will do self efficacy. Now, students, you will think, what is self efficacy? Self efficacy is the extent to which a person believes that they can control their life outcomes, or the outcomes are controlled by fate or luck or other situational factors. For example, if I believe that I will only pass the examinations if it is in my destiny, and if I don't work hard, that means I have less self efficacy. If I work hard and if I believe that if I want, I can get 95% also rather than 60%, then I have a self efficacy, because in this situation I am believing in my own ability. Okay, I am not dependent on the destiny, I am not dependent on the luck, but I myself is in control, and I believe in my ability, in my own understanding. So self efficacy, we can say that it is based on the social Bandura social learning theory. See, social learning theory, what does it say? It says that the people learn behavior by observing and imitating others. A small child tries to walk. We are not teaching him how to keep one leg forward, right? We are motivating him. But he does everything by observing others. He sees that people are taking the spoon in their mouth. He also tries to do it. He sees that people walk by keeping one leg in front of the other. He also tries. He falls and tries, because he is observing and imitating the behavior. And this is known as social learning theory. People expectation of achievement also determine the type of behavior in which they would engage, and the amount of risk they would take. So the people who have strong sense of self efficacy will select, influence, and even construct the circumstances for their own life. People with strong self efficacy also are less fearful. See, students, how can I construct my own circumstances? If I believe that yes, I can get 90% plus if I work hard, what I will do? I will change some scenarios in my home. I will keep my space, the study space for myself. I will change the timings so that I can study peacefully. I can even study little bit more harder by contacting my teachers and doing written practice again and again. All these things will be done by the person who has high self efficacy. But the person with the low self efficacy will say, अगर होना होगा तो हो जाएगा, मेरी किस्मत में होगा तो हो जाएगा. These things are done by the people who have low self efficacy. Now self efficacy can be developed. Our society, our parents, and our own positive experience can help in the development of strong sense of self efficacy by presenting positive models during the formative years of children. Now, students, you all have gone through the Indian value education. Every mother, every grandparent, every father tries to inculcate good values by giving you examples of your elder brothers, sisters, or by the famous personalities. What is the work of all these things? Because you are a learner and you can be inspired, you can observe others, and you can learn. That is why to build your self efficacy, that yes, you can also do it, because that person has already done this. We teach you through the models, positive models. They are like a model for you. Okay, that is why we teach you the stories of how APJ Abdul Kalam overcame all the difficulties to study. We teach you how the India from the very backlog of sati system was brought to the today's scenario by all the social reform movements. We teach you so that you can get inspired and you also start doing yourself. When we start doing the things ourselves, then we believe in ourselves and our self efficacy is improved. Now there is one more cognitive and behavioral aspect, that is self regulation. Self regulation means the ability to organize and monitor one's own behavior. See, people are able to change their environment, right, according to the demands of the external environment. They are high on self monitoring. We observe, we see, and we change. Many situations of life requires resistance to situational pressures and control over ourselves. This become possible through the commonly known as willpower. People are able to change according to the situations. And see, if we are going through all these things, we need to have a willpower, because if we want to change anything, we need to be confident. We need to go on despite all the obstacles. That needs willpower. As human beings, we can control our behavior the way we want. We often decide to delay or defer the satisfaction of certain needs. Learning to delay or defer the gratification of needs is called self control. Self control plays a key role in the fulfillment of long term goals. That means if I want to do something properly, right, I need to do the self control. That means if I am going to achieve 90% plus in my exams, board exams specifically, I have to reduce the video gaming time. That is reduction. That reduction is self control. I have to reduce the time I spend on the TV or on the phone, on the social media. This is self control. That means I am delaying the gratification of needs to talk to my friends. I am delaying it. I can talk to them after 6 months when I have given my exams and achieve my goal now. So this is what we do, what we say self control. Indian cultural traditions provides us with certain effective measures such as vrat, rosa, non-attachment with worldly things for self-control. See, from the older times, we are asked to maintain the brahmacharya, we are asked to go for fasting, we are asked to go for rosas, thus Lakshmi, in different aspects, in different cultural communities, we have different ways of self control. The names are different, but the basic idea is to control your own needs, to control their gratification of needs. We are always adhered towards the right direction, right? And we are always motivated to do the right things by doing the self control. Now, what are the techniques of self control? There are various techniques of self control. First is observation of one's own behavior. It is one of them, and it provides us necessary information that may be used to change, modify, or strengthen certain aspects of behavior. Now, what does this mean? Means we are observing ourselves. We observe, we find out the faults, we find out what is to be changed, and then we try to work on those things. Without observation, we will feel that we are perfect. We are not we are not perfect, and we have to observe what are the faults, what are the things that needs to be changed, and it can be done only if we observe our own behavior. That is introspection. Next is self instruction. Self instruction is very important technique. We instruct ourselves to do something and behave in the way we want to. Such instructions are quite effective in self regulation. For example, if I want to go to social media and click on like button, I can stop myself and say, no, I don't want to do this. It is not required, it is not important. If I give instructions again and again to myself, I can stop using social media for a longer period of time. So the control can come slowly and slowly with through the self instruction. I don't need anyone outsider to say that don't use social media, don't use social media. I can do it myself by understanding my behavior and giving myself the self instructions. Next is self reinforcement. If I have been able to do something, right, what I have tried to do, then I can give myself some reinforcement. I can do something that gives me pleasure. Okay, it is a third technique that involves rewarding behaviors that have pleasant outcomes. For example, we may go to see the movie with friends after the examinations, right? The students who have completed their board examinations, they go for an outing with their friends. That is self reinforcement, because they are happy, they have done their target, they have achieved their target, now they can enjoy, right? And that is self reinforcement. These techniques have been tried out and found quite effective with respect to self regulation and self control. Now, culture and self. My dear students, culture and self are interrelated. What our culture teaches is reflected in ourselves. There are two types of culture we are going to discuss here. First is Indian culture. According to the Indian culture, the self is characterized by shifting nature of boundaries, right? And the Indian view does not make rigid dichotomies, rather, both remain in a state of harmonious coexistence. It is based on collectivistic Indian or Asian society. Now, students, what does this mean? This means that a person is free to mingle with the others. This self is influenced in Indian culture. Our self is influenced by the family, by the society. We are embedded in the society, right? And in Indian view, there are no clear boundaries, there are no clear dichotomies. Okay, everybody is embedded in each other. We don't take permission before giving an advice or before influencing others. So it is not clear. The boundaries are little mixed up, right? Because we live in the collectivistic society. That means we live together. We are dependent on each other. That is why the self is more dependent on others rather than only myself. Now, in the Western society, the boundaries between self and group are very rigid. We don't meet the other people as we want to. Okay, and other people do not advise us anytime. There are clear boundaries between self and the group. It holds clear dichotomies between the self and group and maintain individuality. When they take the permission, when they want to mingle with others, then only they go and meet. Otherwise, there are clear boundaries. They are clearly defined because it is an individualistic society in the West. They live individually. They do what they want to individually without the influence of the others. That is why the boundaries are very rigid and that there are clear dichotomies. So we can understand this by simple diagram. See, in this diagram, in the Indian perspective, it is circular and the individual is part of the group. That group is my cultural group, my family, my school, my friend circle, everything. So they influence me and I influence them regularly. Whereas in the Western perspective, it is shown in a triangular way, and here individual and group are separate, and we only meet the others when we want to. Otherwise, we are separate and we live separately. So, students, we have to understand ourselves very properly to understand our own personality and to bring about changes. And it can only be done by observing ourselves. In all of these things, you will understand that observation of one's own behavior is the most important thing in one's life. Thank you, students. I hope you have a very good learning session.